Public transport users, especially those in the Klang Valley, often face disruptions in their daily commute. For Budget 2023, urban mobility researcher Aziff Azuddin outlines what the government must prioritise within this sector.
There are two major things that need to be addressed. One is service reliability, and the second is first mile, last mile infrastructure. Right? So when we talk about service reliability, we're talking about how recently, or perhaps for the past few years, in fact, bus and rail services are seen as unreliable, right? We're talking about multiple rail delays and breakdowns over the past few months. We're talking about bus services that are missing, late, or perhaps only operate at 30 minutes to hourly frequencies. So service unreliability is one of the major reasons why the public really doesn't trust using public transit, right? So then, but also we're talking about the second issue that we should be addressing in public transport, which is first mile, last mile infrastructure, right? I mean, you have to think about it in terms of how getting to your closest bus stop or train station is a very, very difficult task, right? And this is really due to how Malaysian roads are designed for cars and large vehicles, right? So little attention is given to how pedestrian infrastructure is developed, especially in making them safe and making them accessible.
According to Aziff, the Transport Ministry's allocations for 2023 should be channeled towards improving service accessibility and reliability.
I'm thinking that one of the ways that we can improve public transit is really expanding the bus network and services across different townships in the country, right? So the previous Perikatan government allocated 180 million to improve bus services in Malacca, in Sabah, and Sarawak, right? And this is great, right, as a starting point. But I think ideally, if you want to make public transit accessible, you want it to be also expanded in different townships where bus services, whether privately run or publicly owned, could be further improved. And the secondly, this comes to the point of expenditure funding, right? Operation expenditure, or OPEX. Now, in order to improve services, in order to improve frequency, so there are more faster services, more frequent services, a lot for both rail and bus service, right? It means you need to fund the operations, right, in order for them to operate at a very satisfactory standard. Now, this means giving funds to allow for regular maintenance, repair, replacements, but also to allow the service to run as frequently as possible, because every time you run the service, it costs money, right? Now, previous governments, they've focused a lot on funding capital expenditure, or i.e. the development of major rail projects. So we see ECRL, we see MRT3, for example. Now, in focusing on investing in capital expenditure, they've sidestepped the importance of funding service operations, right? So focusing on OPEX, increasing allocations for OPEX is what allows services to run, is what makes it reliable to use for people, right?